This is Drew Talks. Yes, Tatsumai Kamishima. Yes, Nintendo Classic. Yes, very successful. Why are you telling me this? Uh huh. No, no. It can't be. It just can't be. So you're telling me Nintendo NES discontinued? Oh, and I'm the first to know. Okay. Super NES Mini Classic. Thank you. I will not tell a single soul. By the end of this video, I will show you how to make your own Super NES Mini. Everything you need to do to have all the games you want on your system. This is going to be the operating system you want for your Raspberry Pi to play all those retro games. You should be able to play everything from Nintendo 64 and Dreamcast on the higher end to Commodore 64, Atari 800, all those classic systems through this method. To get started, you do need to download a couple of files on your computer. So we're going to go ahead and I'll put links in the description, but one of them is Raspberry Pi 2/3. That's what we're going to be installing on, but if you do have a Raspberry Pi 01, you would click here. For the remainder of this tutorial, it's going to be for Raspberry Pi 3, but the method should be very similar. The other program you're going to want is Win32 or some sort of disk imaging program that'll allow you to write a .img file. Once you have that all set up, you should have this little file here. Go ahead and extract it and you should get this file here, which is a .img file. Once you have the .img file, I'm now going to put the SD card in my computer. There it is. It's 8 gig. Go ahead and format this. Make sure it's on the right drive. Format. Okay. Okay. Alright. It's FAT32 is okay. exFAT is okay as well. So now we need to go into our Win32. Go ahead and run an administrator. I already installed it. I'm going to go ahead and put here. You can download it here. I'll put a link in the description as well. It's a very small file. Once you have that, you want to make sure you have the right device again. You're going to click this folder and go to that image file. Now that I have the correct image, I'm going to go ahead and hit this write button here. It's going to say, are you sure you want to continue? I'm going to say yes. All right, now write was complete. That took about 8 minutes, and that was with a SanDisk 8 GB card. You can use any micro SD. I do recommend using name brand like Samsung, SanDisk, and getting the higher end, the class 10. You do want a class 10. Put some links in the description for those so you get good ones as well. After this point, we're going to go ahead and exit the program. We're going to pull the micro SD out of our computer and we're going to stick it in our Raspberry Pi and go ahead and power and just plug in the Raspberry Pi, which should power it on. Make sure you do have either a keyboard or a controller hooked up, and you do have the HDMI hooked up as well. The Pi does not like not having those inputs in prior to being booted up. Okay, we've made it. As you can see, it says one gamepad detected. I am using the Microsoft Xbox 360 controller. I'll put a link in that in the description as well. And I'm just pressing the corresponding keys on my controller. It's very simple to do. You can use a keyboard for this as well. I highly recommend the Xbox 360 controller because it is seen easily. You don't have to worry about the right analog sticks as much because you don't really use them. And if you don't want to assign a button, you can just hold down any button to skip over. Now I hit OK. It does take a little second here. I already hit OK like about 3 seconds ago, as you can see, still thinking. Okay, so it takes about 5 seconds there. And as you see, when we first boot up, we only have Retropie here. And what we want to do is we do want to connect to the internet. So you do want to hook up a computer or something like that where you can type with. And I mean a keyboard, not a computer. And we're going to go into Wi-Fi and set up our Wi-Fi, and that way we can transfer over some games and get this started. So let's go ahead and do that really quickly. Just click Wi-Fi. You can also just plug your computer in if you have a LAN connection, and you can skip this part as well. Just connect to Wi-Fi. It'll ask for your password, enter your password, and then hit connect. Okay, at this point we're on our Wi-Fi. I'm going to go jump to the computer. As far as get it, and here's all your games. And at this point what I would do is I would just manually go through each game and delete the games you don't want here. This is going to be the easiest way to do it. I would just go in and hit the delete button if there's a game you don't want, say yes, and just go down the list, and that way you can build this custom image. But all the games are here. So if you want just all the games, just drag all the games. If you want to delete some, go ahead and delete it. And I've done the same for Super Famicom as well. I unrarred it. It's just one file, and when you unrar, you get all the games. Now this one does not come with the artwork, but we could scrape that later if we want to. Now here it all is, and again you can delete some, add some, whatever you want to do on that. Now the next step is we have to transfer these ROMs over to our Pi. The easiest way to transfer over to the Pi is through the network. There are some other ways. I've made some videos about that. You can see it in my channel. But we're going to go into ROMs, and as you can see here, we're going to have SNES here. Now once you're on the network, you can go into your ROMs folder, and as you go into your ROMs folder, you're going to go ahead and see a folder called SNES. And this is where you're going to want to put all your games. So just go ahead and drag them over, and you can drag them all or just drag a few. I'm just going to drag a few for this video. This way it doesn't take too long. But to drag the whole thing will take you a little bit of time, depending on how fast your Wi-Fi is, but it's not super fast, but also not super slow either. If you want to add some Super Famicom games, you could at this point as well. The easy way is just to mix them into the SNES. But if you want a separate folder, separate directory, you could do that as well. Alright, now our games are on our Pi. Let's go back to our Pi. Okay, we're now back on the Pi, fresh install. We are connected to the Wi-Fi. That's how we got our computer to see the Pi. But as you can see here, we still only have a Retropie logo here. So what we want to do is we just want to hit the start button really quick on our controller. Go down to quit. Oh, don't exit. Don't press B. You want to press A here. And then you don't need to restart the whole system. You just got to restart emulation station super fast, that fast. It was real time. And look at that. We now have Super Nintendo on our Pi. And if you transferred all those games would be here. So let's go ahead and click in. And there you go. We have all of our games that we transferred over. You can also press start. You can go into scraper. You could scrape all your games. Just one system. Let's go ahead and start. And here we go. You can choose between, there we go. Right now we're scraping the artwork. I'm just telling it that I'm okay with what it found. 90 minutes, that looks good. Like here, you know, you have multiple. Usually the first one they guess is usually right. And you can just go through here and scrape all the artwork. You get the idea. Okay, great. So, as you can see, we now scraped the artwork and the information. Tells you how many players. Like over here, we can see how many players it takes. Over there, we could see you know, what year it was released, what company. There's a little brief description. So we got the games, we scraped the artwork. Now we can play. Now to finish this off, you know, as far as it comes to building a case or whatever, there's lots of options out there, but I do highly recommend. This is the iBuffalo SNES controller. It's going up in price. When I bought this 6 months ago, it was $19.99. I've seen it go on sale for $9.99, maybe $14.99, and now it's up to $25. I see this going up in price because it is such a nice controller, and I think that this will be the next big thing. So let's go ahead and get into a game here. Arcade's Greatest Hits. I pressed the wrong button there. You shouldn't need to configure anything. It should be ready to go. You just need to configure your controllers. You can configure your controllers back in Emulation Station by pressing Start, and then there is a there's a configure controller. I don't know what I'm doing here. Oh, that's like what? Okay, there it is. Whoa, you're a little fast. You just hit Start, select to exit. You're back. Controller's awesome, by the way. Feels like an NES, same size. Buttons feel the same. The D-pad is great. It even has a turbo button on there as well for any of those shoot 'em ups or games that, you know, you just let's try this one. You can do Street Fighter 2, Super Mario Kart, Super Mario RPG is a great game. WrestleMania was a great game.
You could do Killer Instinct was a great game. They had Primal Rage. There's so many great games for the Super Nintendo, and it emulates perfectly on the Pi. No lag. You can even run it on the Pi Zero. It shouldn't lag either. Both have enough processing power to handle this type of gameplay. And once you have this controller on it, it's really hard to notice the difference. And you saw that it had almost every single game, every title. It's like 700 and something games in the regular SNES ROM pack, and then the Super Famicom is like over 500 as well. So between all those games, by the way, this is going to all fit on an 8 GB micro SD card, so extremely cheap. The Pi, you can get a Pi Zero for around $5-10. You can get the controller for 20. Oh, you can't look. We got the password. Don't look. We have the password. Just skip the first level. Okay, so there you have it. This is how you make a mini SNES. I'm sure they're going to be out on the market with a real one. I suggest buying one just so you can resell it. That would be my suggestion. As far as this goes, build your own. Really easy. Everything you need to do right in this video. If this was helpful for you, give this video a thumbs up. I mean, come on, give it a little thumbs up. If you like what I do, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you on the next one.